Good afternoon, Sarah. I am very pleased that we have the opportunity to discuss this important matter today. Many English learners ask us the same question. How can I improve my speaking skills? It seems simple, but in truth, it is not always easy.
Good afternoon, Adam. Yes, you are absolutely right. Speaking is often the most difficult skill for learners. Reading and listening can be done quietly and privately, but speaking requires courage. It demands confidence. It also demands practice in real situations.
Indeed. I have noticed that many learners understand English quite well. They can read books, they can watch films, and they can even write emails. However, when they need to speak, they suddenly feel nervous. Their mind becomes empty.
That is a very common experience. I remember one of my students, Maria. She could write excellent essays. Her grammar was nearly perfect. But when I asked her to speak in class, she would hesitate and whisper. She once told me, "I am afraid of making mistakes." That fear stopped her from speaking freely.
Fear is a powerful barrier. Perhaps our first advice should be this. Learners must accept that mistakes are part of learning. No one speaks perfectly at the beginning. Even children make mistakes when they learn their first language.
That is a very wise point. We should remind learners that speaking is a skill, just like playing the piano or riding a bicycle. One cannot improve without practice, and practice always includes mistakes.
Exactly. Let us organize our thoughts clearly so that learners can follow us step by step. First, we may discuss mindset. Then we can speak about practical techniques. After that, we can offer some daily habits.
That sounds logical. Let us begin with mindset. Adam, what do you think is the most important attitude for a learner?
I would say courage and patience. Courage to speak and patience to continue. Speaking does not improve overnight. It takes time.
I agree. Learners often compare themselves with native speakers. This comparison can make them feel discouraged. But we must remind them that native speakers have had many years of practice since childhood.
Yes. Instead of comparing, learners should measure their own progress. For example, they can record themselves speaking today. Then, after 3 months, they can record themselves again. When they listen carefully, they will notice improvement.
That is an excellent technique. Recording oneself can be uncomfortable at first, but it is very useful. It allows learners to hear their pronunciation, their speed, and their clarity.
There is also another important belief. Communication is more important than perfection. If a learner says, "Yesterday I go to market," we understand the meaning, even if the grammar is not perfect.
Precisely. The goal of speaking is to communicate ideas and feelings. Grammar is important, of course, but it should not stop a learner from expressing themselves.
Let us move to a practical technique. Many learners translate from their native language into English before speaking. This slows them down.
Yes, and it increases anxiety. They think of a sentence in their own language. Then they try to find each English word. By the time they are ready, the conversation has already moved on.
Therefore, one very effective method is to practice thinking in English. For example, when walking in the street, a learner can describe what they see. The sky is cloudy today. There are many people at the bus stop. The wind feels cold.
That is a simple but powerful exercise. It trains the brain to produce English naturally. It does not require a partner. It can be done anywhere.
Indeed. I once advised a student to speak to himself while cooking. He would say, "Now I am cutting the onions. I am adding salt. I hope it tastes good." After several weeks, he told me that forming sentences became easier.
That is a lovely example. It shows that speaking practice does not always require a classroom. Everyday life can become a language laboratory. Adam, many learners complain that they do not have enough vocabulary. What advice would you give them?
I would suggest learning vocabulary in context, not in isolation. Instead of memorizing long lists of words, they should learn phrases. For example, instead of only learning the word decision, they can learn the phrase, make a decision.
Yes, collocations are very important. English words often go together in natural combinations. When learners use these combinations, their speech sounds more fluent.
Exactly. Another technique is to prepare vocabulary for common topics. Family, work, hobbies, travel, education. If a learner can speak confidently about these areas, they will feel more comfortable in conversation.
I agree. For instance, a learner might prepare answers to common questions. What do you do? What are your hobbies? Why are you learning English? If they practice these answers many times, they will speak more smoothly in real situations.
That is very practical advice. Repetition builds confidence.
Have you ever used the shadowing technique with your students?
Yes, I have. It is very effective for pronunciation and rhythm. In shadowing, a learner listens to a short audio clip and repeats what they hear immediately, almost at the same time.
Exactly. It is like following the speaker's voice. This helps learners understand the music of English: stress, intonation, and natural speed.
I once asked my students to shadow a short speech from the news. At first, they struggled. But after several attempts, their pronunciation improved noticeably.
I believe this technique also improves listening. When learners try to repeat quickly, they must pay close attention to every sound.
That is true. Speaking and listening are closely connected skills.
Of course, speaking alone is useful, but conversation with others is essential.
Absolutely. Real interaction teaches learners to respond quickly and naturally. It also teaches them how to ask for clarification. For example, they can say, "Could you repeat that, please?" Or, "What do you mean?"
Yes, those expressions are very helpful. Learners should not feel embarrassed to ask for repetition. Even native speakers do that sometimes.
I encourage learners to join speaking clubs or online conversation groups. Even a weekly conversation can make a significant difference.
I remember a shy student who joined a local English club. In the beginning, she barely spoke. But the members were kind and patient. After 6 months, she was leading discussions. It was a beautiful transformation.
That story shows the importance of a supportive environment. Learners need encouragement, not criticism.
Pronunciation is another area that causes anxiety. Many learners worry about their accent.
Yes, but having an accent is natural. The goal is clarity, not perfection. As long as the listener understands, communication is successful.
I agree wholeheartedly. However, learners should focus on certain key elements, such as word stress. For example, in the word important, the stress is on the second syllable. Important.
Exactly. Incorrect stress can make a word difficult to understand. Sentence stress is also important. In the sentence, "I didn't say he stole the money," the meaning changes depending on which word is stressed.
That is a wonderful example. Intonation also expresses emotion. Rising intonation may indicate a question, while falling intonation may show certainty.
Therefore, learners should listen carefully to native speakers and try to imitate not only the words, but also the tone and rhythm.
Let us speak honestly about nervousness. Even advanced learners feel anxious before speaking in public.
That is very true. One helpful technique is preparation. If a learner must give a presentation, they should practice many times aloud, not only in their mind.
Practicing aloud is essential. Speaking silently in one's head is not the same. The muscles of speech need training.
Another useful method is deep breathing. Before speaking, take a slow breath. It calms the body and clears the mind.
That is simple yet powerful advice. I often tell my students, pause is not your enemy. A short pause can make speech clearer and more confident.
Yes, speaking slowly is better than speaking too quickly with many mistakes.
Perhaps we should now discuss daily habits. Small actions every day can lead to great progress.
Certainly. For example, learners can set a small daily goal. Speak in English for 10 minutes each day.
They can also keep a speaking diary. Each evening, they can record themselves talking about their day, what they did, how they felt, what they learned.
That practice develops fluency and emotional expression. Language is not only about facts, it is also about feelings.
Yes, expressing feelings is important. Learners should practice sentences such as, I was delighted, I felt disappointed, or I was quite nervous. These phrases make speech richer and more personal.
Reading aloud for 5 minutes each day can also improve pronunciation and confidence.
Indeed, it strengthens the connection between reading and speaking.
Before we conclude, I would like to return to the topic of mistakes. How can learners use mistakes positively?
They should treat mistakes as teachers. After a conversation, they can reflect. Which words did I not know? Which sentences were difficult? Then they can learn and practice those areas.
That reflective habit is very mature. It turns every conversation into a lesson.
I often say to my students, progress, not perfection. If today you speak a little more confidently than yesterday, you are moving forward.
That is a beautiful philosophy.
Adam, if you could give one final message to English learners, what would it be?
I would say this: do not wait until you feel ready. Start speaking now, even if your sentences are simple. Great journeys begin with small steps.
That is inspiring. My final message would be, believe in yourself. Your voice matters. Your ideas are valuable. English is simply a tool to share them with the world.
Very well said, Sarah. With patience, courage, daily practice, and a positive mindset, every learner can improve.
Indeed. Let us hope that our conversation encourages many learners to speak with confidence and joy.
I sincerely hope so. After all, language is not merely grammar and vocabulary. It is connection. It is understanding. It is humanity.
And when learners speak, even imperfectly, they build bridges between people and cultures.
A most fitting conclusion. Thank you for this thoughtful discussion, Sarah.
Thank you, Adam. It has been a pleasure.
Thank you. And that's where we'll leave it for today. Please do remember to subscribe to our channel, give us a like, and share the podcast with your friends and family. It really does make a tremendous difference, and we're most grateful for your support.